the head of the Senate. I really think the pressure is on the president.
If you were president, what would you do?
Well, very simply, you have to get everybody in a room. You have to be a leader. The president has to lead. You have to get.
Los domingos se han convertido en un espectáculo deprimente. Los republicanos desfilan por los programas de televisión para hacer lo mismo de siempre, arrastrarse ante Donald Trump y justificar lo injustificable. Pero lo de hoy fue una vergüenza en otro nivel. J.D. Vance, el vicepresidente, decidió superarse en humillación pública. Su intento por complacer a Trump fue tan patético que George lo sacó del aire en vivo. Sí, lo escuchaste bien. Lo cortaron en plena entrevista por negarse a responder una pregunta básica sobre un escándalo de corrupción que amenaza a toda la administración. Chécate este clip.
Okay, I do want to turn to the big news here back at home, the ongoing government shutdown. I want to play you a little bit of what President Trump had to say about shutdowns past when Barack Obama was president. Take a look.
If there is a shutdown, I think it would be a tremendously negative mark on the president of the United States.
They're not going to be talking who the head of the House was, the head of the Senate. I really think the pressure is on the president.
If you were president, what would you do?
Well, very simply, you have to get everybody in a room. You have to be a leader. The president has to lead. You have to get the people in a room, and you have to get a deal.
Mr. Vice President, by President Trump's own calculus, the pressure is on him to get everyone into a room and get a deal, is it not?
Well, Kristen, I wouldn't focus on the political pressure to get a deal. We really don't care what the poll numbers say.
But what about what President Trump said?
What's good for the
What
American
about what
people.
Mr. Trump said, his own words?
Well, Kristen, the president was talking back then when Barack Obama was president about the political realities. We are focused now on the governing realities because we're in power and we're trying to make the American people's government work for the American people, despite the fact that Chuck Schumer...
No hay manera elegante de decirlo. Lo que acabamos de ver fue una acrobacia verbal fallida. J.D. Vance menciona cosas que no tienen nada que ver e inventa excusas sobre realidades políticas y de gobernanza. Se hunde más con cada palabra. Su problema es que hay videos, declaraciones y registros que lo contradicen. Cuando eso pasa, no hay giro que lo salve. Lo irónico es que este mismo Vance, antes de convertirse en el vocero obediente del trumpismo, llamaba a Trump un fascista en potencia, el opio de América y una amenaza para la democracia. Ahora, ese mismo hombre se arrastra para defender al presidente en medio de un cierre de gobierno que, según sus propias palabras de 2016, debería ser culpa exclusiva del presidente. Y todavía falta lo mejor, el momento en el que Vance fue echado en vivo por responder sobre el presunto soborno dentro de la Casa Blanca.
On an FBI surveillance tape in September 2024, accepting $50,000 in cash. Did he keep that money or give it back?
George, you've covered the story ad nauseum. Tom Homan did not take a bribe. It's a ridiculous smear. And the reason you guys are going after Tom Homan so aggressively is because he's doing the job of enforcing the law. I think it's really preposterous. I know Tom. I think that he's a good man. He gets death threats. He gets attacked. He gets constantly threatened by people because he has the audacity to want to enforce the country's immigration laws. I think that it would be a much more interesting story about why is it that Tom Homan, who is simply enforcing Americans' immigration laws, is getting constantly harassed and threatened to the point of death threats. That's a much more interesting question that I think journalists should focus on. We can agree to disagree on that question.
Well, wait, you said he didn't take a bribe, but I'm not sure you answered the question. Are you saying that he did not accept the $50,000?
George, this story has been covered ad nauseum. He did not take a bribe. Did he accept $50,000? I'm sure that in the course of Tom Homan's life, he has been paid more than $50,000 for services. The question is, did he do something illegal? And there's absolutely no evidence that Tom Homan has ever taken a bribe or done anything illegal, which is why he's working in the administration.
I'm asking you, did he accept the $50,000 that was caught on the surveillance tape? Did he accept that $50,000 or not?
George, I don't know what you're talking about. Did he accept $50,000 for what?
He was recorded on an audio tape in September 2024, an FBI surveillance tape, accepting $50,000 in cash. Did he keep that money?
Accepting $50,000 for doing what, George? I'm not even sure I understand the question. Is it a crime? Even the far left media like yourself. So I'm actually not sure what the precise question is. Did he accept $50,000? Honestly, George, I don't know the answer to that question. What I do know is that he didn't violate a crime.
So you don't, what was caught on the tape, you're saying right now you don't know whether or not he kept that money?
I don't know what tape you're referring to, George. I saw media reports that Tom Homan accepted a bribe. There's no evidence of that. And here's, George, why fewer and fewer people watch your program and why you're losing credibility. Because you're talking for now 5 minutes with the Vice President of the United States about this story regarding Tom Homan, a story that I've read about, but I don't even know the video that you're talking about. Meanwhile, low-income women can't get food because the Democrats and Chuck Schumer have shut down the government. Right now, we're trying to figure out how to pay our troops because Chuck Schumer has shut down the government. You are focused on a bogus story. You're insinuating criminal wrongdoing against a guy who has done nothing wrong instead of focusing on the fact that our country is struggling because our government's shut down. Let's talk about the real issues, George. I think the American people would benefit much more from that than from you going down some weird left-wing rabbit hole where the facts clearly show that Tom Homan didn't engage in any criminal wrongdoing.
It's not a weird left-wing rabbit hole. I didn't insinuate anything. I asked you whether Tom Homan accepted $50,000, as was heard on an audio tape recorded by the FBI in September 2024, and you did not answer the question. Thank you for your time this morning.
No, George, I said that I don't.
Up next.
Y ahí lo tienen. George hizo lo que muchos periodistas no se atreven a hacer, decir basta. Cuando un político miente, se contradice y se rehúsa a contestar. No hay que premiarlo con más minutos de pantalla, hay que cortarlo y punto. El vicepresidente de Estados Unidos, segundo en la línea de mando, fue incapaz de responder una pregunta básica sobre corrupción, y eso lo dice todo. Lo más ridículo es que el propio equipo de comunicación republicano intentó venderlo como una victoria. Caroline Leavitt incluso celebró el momento, como si que te saquen del aire fuera una hazaña. No parecen entender que si un periodista tiene que interrumpirte es porque hiciste el ridículo. Pero Vance no terminó ahí. Siguió su gira de negación en otros programas, defendiendo a Trump por los recientes despidos selectivos en agencias federales. Científicos del CDC, personal de salud pública, expertos en enfermedades infecciosas, todos despidos bajo el argumento de que eran demócratas.
These are notifications of being laid off, of losing their jobs. That's why it's a little different this time. And specifically, when it comes to what's happening within the health sector, CBS did confirm on Saturday that the Trump administration went and rescinded some of the layoffs of hundreds of CDC scientists who were mistakenly laid off on Friday and then told Saturday that's not the case. But some of them were involved with the federal measles response. Some of them were involved with the response on Ebola. How does a mistake like this happen? Did the White House even talk to the CDC?
Well, so two responses to that, Margaret. First of all, I want to assure the American people that the frontline healthcare workers, the people who monitor measles, Ebola, and other infectious diseases, those people are still on the job, and we're trying very hard to figure out how to ensure those people get a paycheck, of course, because we want them to be happy and healthy. We want them to be able to do their jobs well. But the second point, Margaret, is the government shutdown inevitably leads to some chaos. We are figuring out how to take money from some areas and give it to other areas. That chaos is because Schumer and the far-left Democrats shut down the government. We have to remember, Margaret, that the vast majority of Republicans, and to their great credit, a number of moderate Democrats have consistently voted to reopen the government. But if Chuck Schumer and the far-left Senate Democrats are going to shut down the government, that is going to lead to some chaos. So you ask, how does this mistake happen? It happened because Chuck Schumer shut down the government, and we're trying to make sure that essential services still function in the face of that shutdown.
But that was a White House decision to lay off these individuals. You heard the president talking about that. That wasn't Chuck Schumer's decision. I understand your broader point on the negotiations, but the layoffs came from the president and the White House.
But my point is, Margaret, that we have to do layoffs because we have to preserve necessary resources to do the most critical things that the government does. And in that phase, you're going to have some chaos. You're going to lay off people, frankly, Margaret, that the White House doesn't want to lay off. We would like to reopen the government and ensure these essential services stay on. But unfortunately, in an environment where we're dealing with limited resources, where the government is shut down, we've got to move some things around. And in that moving things around, there is some chaos, there is some unpredictability, but we're trying to do everything that we can with the hand of cards that Chuck Schumer and the Democrats have dealt us. That's our solemn promise, and that's our duty to the American people, but there's going to be chaos. That's why we want to open the government. That's why we want the Democrats to accept that the government should be open.
Escuchar esto ya raya en lo absurdo. Vance admite que los despidos vinieron directamente de la Casa Blanca, pero culpa a los demócratas porque necesita un enemigo. Despedir científicos durante un brote de enfermedades y culpar a la oposición por el caos que tú mismo provocaste no es solo incompetencia, es sabotaje político deliberado. Y si algo quedó claro hoy es que Vance ya no representa a los ciudadanos de Ohio ni al país. Representa a un solo hombre, Donald Trump. Lo que vimos este domingo resume perfectamente la esencia del trumpismo, la lealtad ciega antes que la verdad. Vance miente para proteger al presidente. Los medios oficialistas aplauden y el resto del país paga el precio de un gobierno disfuncional que opera bajo el miedo y el fanatismo. Pero cada vez que un periodista los enfrenta con hechos, el disfraz se cae. Y ahí está el verdadero poder del periodismo y del análisis crítico. Mostrar que el emperador, en este caso el presidente, no está desnudo, sino que está rodeado de cortesanos dispuestos a mentir para que nadie lo note. Esto es Rumor de Estado.